Yo, what's going on, snipers, and welcome back to our Detroit Red Wings franchise mode here in NHL 21. So last episode we had the draft and the re-sign stage, and we decided to let go of quite a bit of players that used to play with this team just because we don't really have the cap space to actually sign everybody back. So guys that we let go of include Francis Nguyen, who was our longtime backup goaltender. I think he also played sometime as starter like around this season in 31-32 and 30-31. But most of the time he was behind Rohan House, and also this last few years has been behind Punov. So he has been let go of. The main reason is just because of the cap situation. I did ask you guys if you wanted me to bring him back, but there is a better goaltender option to bring in, which we are going to be doing in this episode. I'll get to a comment in a bit about it, but basically there is this 85 goaltender in Gustavo Nickel. And Gustavo is an 85 elite goaltender at 26 years of age. He only wants $1.45 million for 1 year, which is a very good contract for a guy that's an 85 overall. It could be because he doesn't lack, he lacks a lot of experience. Like, he's only played 1 year as an NHL backup goaltender, and he has no playoff experience either. So that could be the main reason why. I don't even know why he's an 85 if it's just statistical based, because he did have a really good AHL season in 2030-31, so maybe that's why he has statistical growth or something. I don't know if he's going to be a good NHL goalie, but we are going to probably sign him in this episode. As well as we're going to have to pick up some depth options just because we don't really have the greatest roster as we used to. Like, I will show you guys what our roster currently looks like again before I get to Hawks fans' comment. So, as you can see here, our center core still looks pretty good. We got Matthews, Kolemainen, Powell, and Hobbs. But then you get to our wingers, and it's a little bit weak. We got DeKaiser and Petrovic, who are signed still. Dingman, Boyan, Alexandrov, and Garrison. So Alexandrov and Garrison are going to be in the lineup this coming season more than likely. The main reason is just because of the cap situation, but these guys should develop into being some decent players still. Like, Alexandrov was a second round pick of ours, and Garrison was an undrafted signing of ours as well. So I'm very excited to see what those guys can do for next season. As well, our defense looks like this: Wall and Biggs, Stewart and Savonin. And then Larson's going to be probably playing with Ramjit Singh, who we acquired from Anaheim in the Rohan House deal, I believe. So that's probably how our defensive core is going to be shaping up. And then we're going to have Punovs with Nickel, if we could sign Nickel to like a 1 or 2 year deal. So that's basically what our roster looks like. We also do have three RFAs that are currently getting their contracts re-signed in Wong, who's going to be like probably our third liner. We might play Tucker in the top 6 this next season just because he seems to be putting up some decent numbers for being like on the third line mostly. So I think I probably will try and run him on the second line this year and see if he can produce at that level. And then Ramjit Singh is going to be on the top 6, as I was mentioning, with Larson probably. But anyways, let's get into this comment from Hawks fan. He says, I would sign Nickel as a backup for sure. If he wants too much when it's time to extend him, it should be easy to get good value for him, which I agree with because he's an 85 and he's really, really cheap. I also asked Hawks fan about how much term I should be giving him, and then should I be bringing back guys like Ouellette, or should I let them players like Alexandrov and Garrison play? And he says, I would give Nickel 3 years. As for the signings, I think you should re-sign all your RFAs and fill any holes on the team. So I don't really think there's much holes that we can fill with the amount of cap space we have, because with the $9 million in cap space we have, and currently we have, I think, offered $5 million to our RFAs that we have remaining. If I go to approached, yeah, I think it's like around just over $5 million. Like, maybe, I think I wrote it down somewhere, but I think it's like 5 or 4.5 or something like that along those lines. We're only going to have like $3.5 or $4 million to spend on free agents, which is not really a whole lot. So Nickel's going to be the big signing. And then we're probably going to be signing some guys that want two-way contracts that are like 77, 78 as depth options, which might make our team a little bit weak by comparison to past seasons, but who knows, maybe it could help us out. So that's what we are going to be doing with free agency. So anyways, that was the only comment because I'm recording this literally like a couple hours after the episode is aired. So let's get into this free agent signings, and then we will sim to the start of the season. And I'm very excited to see how this team simulates just with the young youth that are jumping into the lineup. And hopefully also this team can simulate good enough to get back to a conference finals appearance next season, or even a Stanley Cup Finals appearance for that matter. So let's get to that goaltender that Hawks fan was mentioning, and I was mentioning that low starter in Gustavo Nickel, former second-round pick of the Philadelphia Flyers. As I was mentioning, he played 3 years in Lehigh Valley with one really good season, and then he played 2 years, well, 1 year in the NHL really, and he was not great, but it could be because he was playing with a bad team. I don't know if that was the case or not. So we're going to sign him, and we are going to give him a 2-year deal, not a 3-year deal. The only reason is just because it jumps up to 4.8, which I don't really have the cap space to work with. So I'm going to give him a 2-year deal, and I'm going to just give him like $1,400. There's no other teams interested in him, so I hope that he signs with us. And in our other signings, we are going to sign defenseman Bertuzzi. He's a 23-year-old UFA. So it's kind of actually a signing that could help us out in terms of our defensive play. If we look at him, where the heck is he? I know he's a left-handed defenseman. Oh man, I always forget where all these free agents are. I'm gonna have to go by left-handed defenseman. No, actually, does it even sort that way? No, it doesn't even sort that way. It's still bugged out. I don't even know why it's like that. Let's sort by overall. It'll be easier to find him this way. So he's a 78. There he is. Medium top 6D. He wants a 2-way deal, it looks like. So he's relatively cheap. There is one other team interested in him, so I probably will give him like $950K. But he could fit our lines. Who knows? He hasn't really played much at all. Like, he's never played an NHL game. He's played 3 seasons in the AHL fully. And he looks pretty solid, I would say. So we're going to sign him up. Maybe he's a better fit on our top 6 pairing by comparison to Ramjit Singh, and maybe we play this guy next season instead of Ramjit Singh, who knows. So that's going to be our defensive depth signing, and then we have 2 depth forwards to add, which are relatively cheap. The first one is a center in Ola Ekman-Larsson, who is an undrafted player. He's got low bottom 6 potential. He is listed as a minor scoring forward, and he's only 26. The thing is with him that looks decent is he actually has some pretty good attributes across the board, so he might actually be not that bad of a depth option in the NHL. Once again, we'll just give him a 1-year deal in a 2-way contract, just because that way we can actually afford these type of guys. I hope we don't run into cap problems though, because cap problems are very tough to deal with in this game, I find. And then the final signing is going to be a left winger that's also a right winger, and that is Jorge Hillis. Yeah, Jorge Hillis. It's a weird name. I don't know if it's Jorge or George Hillis, but anyways, this guy looks pretty decent as well. He's a former first-round pick of the Minnesota Wild. He's a power forward. He's got some decent shooting attributes. And once again, this guy's never played an NHL game. He's just been in the AHL for the last 6 years in Iowa. So we're going to give this guy a shot and see if he can actually be pretty decent as well. Give him like $925K. And that should be good. We have sent out contracts now to all of these guys and the goaltender in nickel. We should be able to afford all of them, I hope. And then if we get all of them, then we'll sim up to next season, and hopefully our team is ready to go, and hopefully our team assimilates well next season. So let's advance a few days and see if we get all these guys back. We actually should make sure our RFAs is signed first, but they probably will accept soon. Ola Ekman-Larsson is accepted, which is not well, it is what I expected, but pretty quick signing there. Anyways, Jorge Hillis signs, which is good. Ramjit Singh re-signs his contract. Same with Tucker, Bertuzzi, and Wong. We're just waiting on the goaltender now, and Gustavo Nickel rejected. So it seems like he still only wants a 1-year deal, which is kind of weird. Maybe it's because he thinks he's going to have a good season and he get paid again next year. So we are going to still give him a 1-year deal. And we'll just give him a tiny bit more because we do still have $7.185 million in cap space. So actually we have a lot more than I expected. We'll give him... Yeah, we'll just give him... Actually, we could give him what Hawks fan was saying and do a 3-year deal. But I don't know if that's going to put us into cap problems for the future. And if he doesn't want to sign more than a 1-year deal, we're going to just give him a 1-year deal, like what he wants. But we could technically sign some better options if we didn't want to play Alexandrov and Garrison in the NHL. But I think I want to give the risk and try playing those guys next year. And if for some reason they're really underperforming, then we could always send them to the AHL and then find some new replacements. But yeah, I think that I'm not going to bring him in. Looks like Andrei Svechnikov is testing free agency, which is kind of interesting. I don't know if I brought that up in last episode. He's asking for $9.2 million, but he is dropping off a lot, so we let him go at the right time, and I think I just saw Connor McDavid as a free agent. Yes, I did. Now, that would be really interesting, bringing in Connor McDavid. He does fit our third line. Do I take a chance and give Connor McDavid a contract? I don't have the cap space. He wants $8 million. I mean, his asking price might come down, but it would be kind of cool to sign Connor McDavid. Even though he is old, he is dropping a lot off in production, actually. So never mind about that. And his plus-minus has not been great, probably because Edmonton's not doing too well. But it would have still been a cool signing if like Connor McDavid didn't want that much to bring him in for like 1 year just to play on our third line and maybe get us a Stanley Cup, because he probably still simulates really well. Okay, let's see if we could get that goaltender. Please sign with us, Gustavo. And then that's all we need. And then we'll sim him up to next season, and Gustavo has accepted. Perfect. So our roster, let's take a quick look at what our roster looks like now. So we got, in terms of our NHL forwards, we got Dingman, Matthews, Bouillon, DeKaiser, Koimainen, Powell, Wong, Petrovic, Tucker, Hobbs, Hillis, Garrison. It's saying Sedin, but Sedin, I mean, I could always play Sedin potentially. He's a good defensive forward, so maybe at some point we play Sedin. I don't know. And then also Alexandrov and OEL, I guess we could call him as well, Ola Ekman-Larsson. And in our defensive core, Wall, Biggs, Stuart Savonin, Larson, Bertuzzi potentially, and then Ramjit Singh as well. And in our goaltending of Nickel and Punovs, I feel like Nickel's going to get more starts than Punovs, but hopefully they get around the same amount. And then whoever wins the more games and was the better goaltender, maybe we run with in the playoffs. If we get there even. Okay, let's sim to next season. So I'm going to make a jump cut quickly in this episode, so you guys will see the edited lines in a second. Okay guys, so here's what our lineup looks like going into the next season. So we got DeKaiser, Matthews, and Dingman still. This line looks pretty good. Second line, Bouillon, Koimainen, and Petrovic. So Petrovic's getting a huge opportunity on this second line. He's been a career like third and fourth line player for us for multiple years, and he's been pretty solid, I would say, for the amount of ice time he's been getting. But now he's going to get an opportunity on the second line, and we'll see if he can produce on there. If not, the left side is probably our weakest point at this point in time. But I think he could produce there because he does have good shot power and accuracy, and he's playing alongside a really good playmaker in Koimainen and another really good sniper in Bouillon. So we'll see if that line can produce. Third line, we got Tucker, Powell, and Alexandrov. Alexandrov has jumped up to an 80. Very excited to see how he can play with a veteran like Powell that's been in the NHL now for 2 seasons, and a veteran, I guess you could also say, in Mitchell Tucker, who's been here for 3 seasons, who's been pretty solid as well. And in fourth line, we got Michael Wong with Calvin Hobbs and Andrew Garrison. More of a defensive fourth line, except for Garrison because he's a playmaker, but Hobbs and Wong are pretty much like grinders and two-way forwards. So I think our forward core actually looks not too bad, considering the fact that we did lose some players in the offseason. And then defensively, we got Wall and Stewart still, Savonin and Big still, and then Ramjit Singh and Larson actually looks pretty solid. Now, Ramjit Singh's not a really good fit for that top 6 pairing, unfortunately, but he doesn't make it a minus. If he underperforms for some reason, maybe he's the type of guy we could trade away. Like, he's a horrible fit for that pairing, apparently, and he's not really a good fit anywhere on this team. So we could always get rid of him at some point if we need to, and then put in somebody like Sean Bertuzzi, who we just signed in the offseason. So we could always play Bertuzzi there instead if need be. And then in terms of our goaltending, we got Nickel and Punovs. So Nickel's actually going to be our starting goalie, and Punovs as the backup. So it should be interesting to see which one of the two actually plays better. And then AHL-wise, we could always call up Christian Sedin at some point. He actually is listed as a fourth liner now. I don't know when I'm going to call him up, but maybe at some point in the playoffs we could use a defensive forward and maybe we'll call him up. And yeah, that's pretty much that, I think, except for actually, yeah, Maximus Stevenson, who we drafted in the first round a few years ago, is now in the AHL, so he's going to be the backup to Nicholas Allen. Okay, so that is our roster going into this season, so let's start up with the season simulation and do a little bit of the season. I don't know how far we're going to get, maybe to January the 1st, But I would like to get a good chunk of the season done just to see how this team is. Hopefully this team doesn't like randomly play like horrible for the first half of the season or so, or plays really good for the first half and then drops off a cliff. But we are listed as a buyer still, so we do have an opportunity to potentially be at least a contending team again this season. So let's get the preseason done, see how we play, and then we will start up the season sim. I wonder who's going to lead us in points in the preseason. I'm expecting a pretty big year for guys like Alexandrov, but hopefully this team actually plays good, even though we do have a little bit of no winger depth, I should say, because we do have a little bit of young guys in the lineup, so hopefully they produce. We are 6-1 in the preseason, so that's good news, and Dingman has 11 points in 7 games. As I was mentioning, Dingman's contract is up at the end of this regular season, so he's going to be a pretty expensive contract to get back. But that means guys like Petrovic, Stewart, Larson, Savonin could all be potentially guys that leave next season. More than likely, Savonin and Larson could leave. I would still like to keep Stewart because he's really good with wall, but he is going to be a little bit more expensive. Like, he's probably going to be asking, for like $5-6 million. Well, Larson is going to be asking for around the same. And then I can't check on Savonin because he just signed last offseason. But Dingman's probably going to be asking for... Actually, that's not a bad contract right now. I should take advantage of that, I think, almost. Because in the offseason, it was looking like for 8 years, he was looking close to $20 million at that rate. Like 8.75. If I could get this on a 20... is it a 20% rule? I don't remember what it's called. I think I could get him on a 20% deal. Let's actually give him a contract already. Because he is a crucial piece for this team, I would say. So I am going to just do some quick math. So I think it's actually the 85% rule. So I got to do times 0.85. And I think I could offer him like 7. Yeah, I think I could offer him like 7.44. If he's willing to accept something like this, that would be really nice. Because like I said, this guy is a crucial piece to the team, and he's actually a pretty good player too. So that is the contract we're going to send him out. It's pretty much exactly what he's making right now, so he might want a little bit more than that, but we are going to try and get him back already. Even if that means letting go of somebody big like Stewart in the offseason, so be it, because Dingman is probably one of our best goal scorers on the team. So, okay, let's get to this first game of the season. It's against the New York Rangers in New York, and then we actually play them a week later. Interesting. Okay, let's go 1 month at a time. We'll probably go to maybe January. Yeah, we'll go to January the 1st, even if this episode is a little bit long. And wow, Dingman accepted, which is huge news for this team. Because I was kind of worried I was going to lose this guy in the offseason, to be honest. But luckily he didn't want a whole lot to start this year. We are off to a little bit of a weird start, but it could be just because we do got a little bit of winger problems. We're 5-5-2. Don't know if I like that. Bouillon's leading us with 12 points in 12 games. I don't know if it's the young guys or what. Alexandrov has dropped to a 79 and Garrison down to a 78. But both of them look like they've been okay, actually. Like, Alexandrov's got 5 points already and he's a +8. Is it the defenseman? Oh, yeah, it's probably Ramjit Singh. Because Ramjit Singh was always a minus in terms of playing in the AHL. I'm really not sold on Ramjit Singh because he's a horrible fit. I think, does he go through waivers? Yes, he does. God damn it. He's going to go through waivers if I tried to send him down. I don't want to scratch him. I might have to trade him in next episode. Because if he's really badly minus, I think I would rather play somebody like Sean Bertuzzi in the lineup. Because I feel like that's the main concern right now. Yeah, it's probably the main concern. Because every other line seems to be plus, except for the top line is horrendous. Holy crap, -9? Jeez, okay, maybe we want to move De Kaiser down. But I don't know if I want to try Petrovic on the top line, to be honest. But we're going to have to try that. I think our team is just a little bit weak on this winger side, but I don't know why the top line was that badly minus. Like, the top pairing's not that badly minus, it's just the top 4 group. That's odd. Let's continue to simulate. Maybe the team will turn it around in the next month or so. And then we can move DeKaiser back to the top line. But kind of a weird start to the season. But I guess it's to be expected to an extent as Petrovic goes down with an injury. Oh, that is not good. Of course, I move him to the top line and he goes down. We'll just replace him with that guy that we signed in the offseason. But maybe if we have like a close to a 500 season, we'll actually do better in the playoffs. You never know. Because this game is totally random. Hillis actually seems to be a decent depth option. 2 points in 5 games. As Petrovic is going to go back to the top line. But yeah, I really hope this team can do good this year. It seems like we're having a much better month this month after... Actually, no, never mind. We're dropping games lately. A little bit of a weird record still. 13-9-4. I'm not really sold on this team's performance so far. I don't know if it's the goaltending or if it's the defensive player or what. 30 points, though, for Bouillon already. He's already got 15 goals in 26 games. But is it the goaltending? Let's take a look. Nickel's been okay, I would say, but not fantastic. And then Punos has been pretty solid, but his goals against isn't good. It could be the goaltending. But that top line is still really badly plus-minus wise. I have no idea what the problem is with it. Let's try Tucker on the top line. Anything to get this team to get going a little bit. Yeah, anything to get this team going. Because I don't know what the problem is. Like, we're winning games, but right now, in terms of the standings, actually, we're above the wildcard spot by 1 point. Not that it matters this early on the season, but this record is kind of weird. Like, we could be, like I said, the team that makes it in just barely and wins a cup, but I don't really want that to be the case because I would rather have a decent enough record going into the playoffs because you could just never trust a team that just barely makes it in. Like, sometimes they go out in the first round and sometimes they make it to the cup finals and win. So let's go one more month and just see if we could get some wins together. Or are we going to have another tough month as we start off with a loss and then a win? Okay, there's 2 wins, 3 wins, 4 wins, a shootout loss, a win. Okay. So now we're playing a little bit better. A lot better, actually, I should say. A lot of shootout wins this month, and 21-14-5. Still not a fantastic record by any means like last season, but we are still in a wildcard spot, which is good. Bouillon's got 39 points in 40 games now, so it seems like the offense has dried up a tiny bit since we last looked. But that is where we're going to stop the simulation. So let's take a look at our player stats halfway through the season, as well as the team stats, and we can kind of address maybe our problems in next episode. So center-wise, Matthews has been pretty solid, 36 points in 40 games, still a -6, which is a little weird. I don't know if it's because of Ramjit Singh still. If Ramjit Singh is like a -15, he's probably getting dealt, and then we're probably going to have to play Bertuzzi or something else, or we could find a better top 6 option. I don't know. Coley Minen only 25 points in 40 games. He's only on pace for like a 50-point year. I feel like his contract is starting to be a little bit of a bad one. But I don't want to trade him away and then he goes on to win a Stanley Cup, you know? Because he's making 11.7 for 4 more years. Well, 3 more years after the season. Powell only 17 points, so once again... Yeah, Powell is also struggling a bit offensively. It seems like our offensive numbers are a lot down from the previous season. Hobbs only 6 points. DeKaiser's only got 24 points. Yeah, our offense has dried up a lot by comparison to last season. Maybe it's just the way the NHL is right now. I don't know. Tucker 15 points, Petrovic 10, Wong's got 7, Hillis 2 points. Right wing wise, Bouillon's got the 39 points and he's a +15. Dingman's got 26 points and he's a -9. Did we lose our head coach in the offseason? I don't think so, right? Because some of these guys don't have really good scheme fits. Alexandrov 12 points so far is not too bad. Garrison's got 10 points, not too bad so far either. And then Wall's got 23 points, Biggs 17, Stewart's got 14, Savonin 9. Yeah, I'm not sold on this Ramjit Singh and Larson pairing. They're both combined to be -18. So that might be our problem right there still. And then the goaltending has been not that bad, I would say. It's improved. Let me take a look at the entire league, though. Is the offense down in the entire NHL, or is it just our team? It might be just our team. Because Lafreniere's top 10 in points, and he's only got 49 points in 40 games. Yeah, I think the NHL's just down in scoring, it looks like. But Ola Olsen's still, like, killing it. Let me take a look at goaltending. Like, the best goalie that is a starter right now is probably this Schrader guy. He's got a 917 save percentage. I don't know. It's hard to really tell if the league is trending away towards defensive player or what. Let's see what is wrong with our team, though, in terms of the standings, just because I want to see if we are bad defensively or not. So we're the 12th best team in the NHL at the moment. Goals for per game wise, yeah, we're not scoring enough. Our offense is one of the worst in the NHL. Yet we're in a playoff spot. So we need to address our offense somehow. Probably need to find another top 6 player, because losing Nolan might be the problem. And in goals against wise, we are one of the best defensive teams. So defense is good, except for that Ramjesing and Larson pairing. And then our offense is just not scoring enough. Power play percentage looks like it's one of the worst in the NHL as well, which is the case, 19.6%. Our penalty kill so far is one of the best in the NHL. So we're a really good defensive team. We're just not a good offensive team, which is uncharacteristic of us of past seasons. So, let's take a look at what's available in terms of the trading block for next episode. But I think our team needs to be a little bit better offensively, and that's the main thing we need to get going. So maybe if we need to find a new top 6 player, like left winger or something, because maybe one of those young guys isn't doing enough. Is there any good top 6 options out there to help us out offensively? Because that's probably what we need to trade for. We don't need a goalie, not even close. Another goaltender. Doesn't really seem to be much. Actually, never mind. There's some Melanson, our former player, but 4 years left. I would want somebody with 1 year left, because I don't need to deal with more cap problems in the offseason. There's already been too much cap problems. Young guys, nothing there. Brandon Carlo Yamamoto is not that bad, but he's making $11 million, which would put us over the cap. And he's not playing that well either. 26 points isn't terrible, but still. Julius Drummond's not much of a help, even though he does have 97 offensive awareness. Bulls signed for 3 years. I hate how the AI just gives so many 3-year, multiple-year deals. It's kind of annoying because I can't find any rentals, really. And I need to find 1-year rentals, because I don't want to have to deal with these stuff in the offseason. Brock Besser at 1 year left at 6.22. He might be an option, but he does not look like he fits our coaching system. And wait, was Mario Plus our head coach last season? I don't remember if he was or not. Because if he wasn't, then we might have lost our coach. That might have been the problem. The Bruncat's making way too much. Of course, all the 1-year contracts are ones that are terrible that I don't want to take on, because I don't have the cap space to deal with them. Pittsburgh has nothing really either, except for Bold Duke, but he's signed for 2 years. Yeah, I don't really know what this team could get. Like, we're going to have to find somebody to probably give us more offense. Like, Migo Rantanen's a decent option. He does actually fit our top line, but is he producing still 24 points in 39 games? He might be able to help us out, but he is signed for 2 years, so if he doesn't retire, we're still paying him $3 million, which is a little bit of a risk. Anybody else interesting? All defensemen there in Toronto. Kratsov, I think we had him at one point, if I'm not mistaken. Boys is signed for 6 years. Damn, if he was only signed for 1 year. Yeah, we need to find somebody that's on a 1-year deal that could help this offense. Like this Kalinin guy, even though he's a 78, he does not look good. God damn it. There's got to be somebody out there that could help us. And that's that. Let's take a look. Actually, I'm going to take a look at free agents just out of curiosity to see if there's anybody that's still unsigned, because sometimes that happens. There is an offensive defenseman. The heck? This guy's still a free agent. He only wants $875K. Huh. But he doesn't fit our system, I don't think. It'd be interesting to exploit this and sign some of these guys that only want like 850k. Like this Brualette guy could help us even out offensively potentially. Same with Nemus, since they only want like 850k. This guy was a really high up pick, but he doesn't look like he ever panned out. What about Brualette? He was also a pretty high up pick. 67 points. Not that bad, but not good offensively. What about Liam Cronwall? Solid offensive attributes. Never played in the NHL. There's got to be something we could do with this team. Like, we could always just readjust our lines, but I don't know what the problem is, really. I think it's probably just the winger depth. Because the fact that we're running like De Kaiser or Petrovic on the second line, we don't really have that secondary scorer. So I think that's what we're going to need for going into next episode. But anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this episode of our Detroit Red Wings franchise mode. So in next episode, we'll probably look to trade for a top 6 winger of some sort to help us out offensively. Maybe we'll think about trading Ramjit Singh as part of that deal to get us one of the best options we can, just because Ramjit Singh has been kind of letting me down on that top 6 pairing. So let me know what you guys think down below, and I'll see you guys next time.